Sure this records. All right, and we're live. All right, guys. So today we are going to discuss a very, very controversial topic. You know me. I love controversy. I love getting in that nitty gritty stuff. Stuff that nobody else wants to talk about because it does raise a lot of questions. I'm not saying like nobody else likes talking about it. I think it hit me this week. I was actually surprised none of our coaches ever touched on this, and I was really glad because for us, we're cycling through so much material. We don't want to make sure that we're overlapping. So when I've been having a few conversations with some of my Fit 42ers, and I was like, light bulb, boom, like let's talk about the scale. The reason why I wanted to call this avoiding the scale scare is because it's simple. Stepping on the scale is a freaking scary thing to do. Okay. So the first thing you have to understand when we're talking about this is going to be, what type of person are you? Before you even buy a scale, you need to understand, is this going to be a good investment or is this just going to torture me? So only you guys know who you truly are. Like, I can find out based on the questions and based on the conversations that I have with everybody, or with the conversations that you guys have with your coaches. Like, we can kind of get a sense of who should and shouldn't have a scale. But you need to understand that's a huge step in figuring out like if it's even okay for you to own a scale at home. Because believe it or not, like there is recommendations that some people should probably not have scales for themselves to own at home. And if you're thinking like, or just if you're one of those people who finds yourself constantly gravitating back towards a scale, if you're somebody who weighs yourself like religiously every single morning, if it's something that you do and you step on the scale and that number will make or break your entire day, probably shouldn't have one. It's an obsession, just like anything else. It's an addiction, just like anything else. And that can lead down this entire road of destruction to your entire body if you allow the scale to continue to be a part of your life. Now, when I say scale, because we tell you guys step on our scale at the gym, right? We have invested thousands and thousands of dollars into the machines, into the accuracy of the types of machines that we use at our facilities, specifically to take the pressure off of you guys when it comes to having your own scales. So there's a lot of variables that go into like, should I have a scale? What type of scales should I buy? If you're a member of any type of Fit in 42, whether in California or in Texas or anywhere else that we open up, you shouldn't own a scale. Plain and simple. 2 reasons. Number 1, you don't need it, because we teach you the things to look for in order to, or the things that to guarantee your success. If you follow our plans, if you follow everything that we give you, like, you're going to have results. But we also educate you on the fact of this matter today of like, hey, it's not always going to be the scale. And most of you guys who have gone through a Fit in 42 or any type of program that we offer, you have realized that. But some of us are having a little bit of a harder time than others. So there's one person who's like, yeah, I'm just gonna trust the process. I'm just gonna, just I'm gonna weigh in when the coach tells me. I'm gonna do what the coach says, and I'm just gonna trust that I'm giving this my everything, and then I'm not really gonna pay attention to the scale. And then there's the other type of person who's just totally obsessive about it, and they want to see the number moving, and they want that number means so much to them. Well, I got a little slideshow. You know me, I like my slideshows. So I want to share this with you guys here. Let me just pull it up. Now, if you have a scale at home right now, this is going to be some good information for you. Whether you use it or not, it's kind of irrelevant. Let's do this. And share. All right, you guys could all see this. Good. All right, let's present it. All right, here we go. Loading. There we go. Yeah, it's pretty simple. All right, so if anybody has a scale and you weigh yourself every single day, here's what I want you to do. Take your scale and write this on it. I'm not kidding. Like, I am dead serious. Hell, if you even want to go as far as getting that Hello Kitty tattoo on your foot, you can even do that. I'm not telling you to do that. What I am telling you to do is write this phrase on your scale. And I don't mean literally ruin your scale, unless you want to. I was actually contemplating having like a scale crushing ceremony at the end of this. It's like everybody goes outside, get a sledgehammer, and you just smash the crap out of your scale. If you need to do that, maybe that's something that you do. And I'm dead serious. Like, if that's the route that you got to go, then that's what you have to do. But I'm saying, if you have a scale and you obsessively weigh yourself numerous times per week, okay, maybe not every day, but even numerous times per week, and that number, you find it getting in your brain. It affects your mood. It affects how you react with your loved ones, with your family, your kids, your husbands, your wives, your friends. If it's something that you obsess over, write this note on there and just stick it. Actually, stick it on the part where the number would pop up. And you could still stand on it every single day, but leave that note there and don't move it. Because you have to understand, you are more important than that number that pops up on that scale. Your mental health, your overall physical health is way more important than just seeing this, part of my language, stupid number. Now, a lot of us know this, but some of us still struggle with it. Some of us still have a hard time with dissecting why. I don't understand why the number is not moving. I'm doing everything I need to. Why? And that's what we're going to break down today in a nutshell. Okay. This I thought was pretty funny. This is pretty, see, it doesn't hurt. So why does mommy cry when she steps on it? Like, your kids can see this, guys. If it's an obsessive behavior that you find yourself constantly doing, now maybe your kids don't see this, but they might catch on to it. Like, oh, dad weighs in every single morning and he's not in such a great mood. Or mom weighs herself, and then after she weighs herself, I don't want to be around her. So think about how this can really affect your loved ones. And this is obviously a funny little picture here, but it's true. Like, our moods can be so greatly impacted by these little things. And when your health and fitness is on the forefront of your goal list, and you're not seeing that number, one you're taking literally digits, and those digits, based on whether or not that you want to see that certain number, will affect your entire day, will affect how you do, go about the rest of your day. Is that fair to them? Absolutely not. Okay. So now I want to talk a little bit about the breakdown. Okay. So this is an exact replica of fat and muscle, 5 pounds each. And I used to have the actual set. It wasn't exactly like this, but I used to have it, and I used to leave it on my desk back when I was, doing like one-on-one training. And this would be like my go-to, because you got to remember, a lot of us have been doing and training and dealing with these questions for years and years and years. So like, we've gone as far as like, they've made freaking replica fat, replica muscle to actually physically show the people who just don't get it. So one of the reasons why we don't, and one of the big reasons why we don't weigh ourselves, and we tell you guys not to do this specifically during Fit in 42, is because the design. Think of the overall design, what Fit in 42 is. We're increasing your movement, your activity. And for a lot of us, we're either increasing or decreasing the amount of calories we're getting. For a lot of the women, we're increasing the calories. For a lot of the guys, we're decreasing the calories. For the women, we're increasing the amount of protein that we're getting you. We're getting you more quality carbs. We're getting you better fats. But that protein intake is what creates this exact scale right here. You lose the top part, you lose all that nasty fat, and you gain the nice, compact, and dense muscle. So when you get asked the question, what weighs more, a pound of bricks or a pound of feathers? If I had $1 for every time someone said, oh, a pound of bricks, like right away, I'm like, no, you doofus. Think about the question. A pound is a pound. It doesn't matter if it's a pound of feathers or a pound of bricks. Now, a pound of feathers is going to take up a lot more space. Right? Same thing with fat, how everything looks And yes, you can simultaneously lose fat and gain muscle. Coach David was talking about losing fat on Monday. But if the numbers are moving, if you're doing everything you need to do, that number on the scale is probably not going to change all that much. And get this, even sometimes when the number changes, but it doesn't change the amount that you want it to, that'll still piss you off. That'll still get you in a mood. How's that? That ain't fair. So you need to understand that what's going on internally has a way different role than that number that you're seeing on the scale. Now, can you lose more fat than you can gain muscle, right? Let's talk about that for a second. Realistically, you can lose anywhere from 1 pound to 2 pounds of fat per week. That's just, it could be a little bit less, it could be a little bit more. It just depends on the person. And then realistically, you can gain about 1/4 pound to 1/2 pound of muscle per week. Some people though, when they start their weigh-ins, right, you're either super dehydrated or maybe you're hydrated. So now we talk about water and how water can affect everything. But this specific picture here, I want to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. Watch this here. This goes to show that she started at 127, and I don't know who this is, just that's why the face isn't there. None of our members, so I don't have to worry about that. And then she finished at 136 pounds. The study of this specific person, this individual that I was reading, this is over a 3-month transformation here, or 2.5-month transformation. So she gained weight, right? Now, if you're a scale person, riddle me this, how the hell does this work? If she went 2.5 months, gained weight, but it looks a heck of a lot better than when she started. She had like no butt when she started. And all of a sudden you start to see some shape, some figure. Her arms looked more defined, her legs looked more defined, but she gained weight. So you see how exactly what I'm talking about here. The scale doesn't tell the full story, guys. The scale will not tell you the full story. All right, let's go back up top now. Okay, that was all I wanted to show you guys for the slideshow. Really, that was. The rest of it is going to be me discussing like the individual things that you're going to notice. So the things that we pay attention to, all right, minus the scale. What should we be paying attention to? And this is it's gonna blow your mind how many times we miss these things, even though you were told to do them, probably more than once from one of your coaches. The reason why we do pictures, all right? Does anyone know why we do pictures? You guys can write your messages on there. I want to know why you guys think we do the pictures, because it's going to be, everyone's going to have a different answer for that. But do you actually look at your pictures when you take them, or do you just take them and like, oh, I never want to do that again. That was so embarrassing. These pictures are for you. They're not for me. Because at the end of Fit in 42, when we're inside the gym, what do? I print your before pictures, I print your after pictures, and I say, here, look. Do you see the difference? Yes, you do. You think I have a scrapbook of everybody who's done Fit in 42 so I can just keep? No. The pictures are for you guys because we want you to see that visual evidence that you are making change. Visual progress, that's it. But because of how we're built and how we're wired up top, you're not going to see the progress every single day. When you're getting up, you're getting in the shower, like you're not going to notice it. I'll tell you a funny story though. And a lot of times, even the coaches, we don't notice it right off the bat, but doing this 42 online and having everybody come and weigh in the gym. Oh yeah, I notice it. Because I don't see you guys for 3 weeks and all of a sudden everybody comes and weigh in. I'm like, who the heck is this? So visual progress is only for those who aren't regularly seeing themselves. It's got to be a visual time frame. You can't just visual progress. You won't see it if that vision is repetitious. If you see it every single day. So anytime you have a substantial change, right? The people who tend to notice it first, coworkers that you haven't seen in a few weeks, relatives that you haven't talked to in a while, right? The people that you don't deal with on a regular basis, those are the individuals that notice these changes. Hey, what are you doing? Man, you look great. You're like, really? I haven't noticed. Well, yeah, that's because you see yourself every single day and you see the same exact person. So you got to take those little compliments and you got to really like run with them. You have to, really, really take those and like, oh man, this is working. Like let that overtake your day and let that feeling be what drives you the rest of the day. Not getting on the scale in the morning and then your pissy attitude and all of a sudden someone does try to compliment you, but you already weighed yourself and you're like, yeah, but I'm still 100 and whatever, how many pounds. Like it's just negative. Your first reaction to a compliment is negative because you started your day off by pissing yourself off by jumping on the scale. So you see how that can even just, yeah. And all of a sudden, nobody wants to give you compliments anymore and you have no friends. Good job. Yeah, don't be that person, guys. Okay, the other thing we want to talk about is everybody has this. Everybody's got clothes that maybe are a little snug. Maybe they don't fit you because you had one too many Twinkies or, whatever it might be. But keep those clothes. Keep at least one article of clothing that, let's say you started off and you had, some jeans or whatever. For women, it tends to be jeans all the time. First of all, we live in the desert. Why are you wearing jeans? All right. But anyways, if it's jeans, hey, it's jeans. All right. That's fine. Keep those jeans though. And every so often, see how they fit. And that can actually put you in check too, because keep trying those same jeans on, your favorite jeans, we'll call them your favorite jeans, right? Will prevent you from, all right, these are getting a little too tight. I need to ramp it up a little bit, right? And that's when, hey, coach, you know what? I tried my favorite jeans on, and yeah, I'm not happy. What can we do about this? Proactive. So clothes can help in a lot of numerous ways, but if you do keep those things and every once in a while, let's say at the end of a Fit in 42 program, especially, why do you think we do a clothes drive? Because we know that a lot of the wardrobe you had when you started the program should not, and I say this with an asterisk, should not fit you towards the end, right? You got to think about that. If you are someone who likes to hold on to everything, you guys remember Jerry's story about his turtle? Him and Casey had a turtle. I don't know what his name was. We'll call him Fred. And they kept Fred in like a little small tank all his life, and he never grew, and they wondered why. But all of a sudden, one day they decided to put him. They got this big tank. They put him in it, and all of a sudden he just starts growing. Boom. So if you keep those clothes around, those old big clothes, right? Let's say you lost them. The reason why we do the clothes drive is because you need to give those up. Go out and get some new clothes because you look great now and you deserve to show off the figure. You deserve to show off all that hard work. But if you like to hold on to those clothes and all of a sudden you start slipping back into your old habits, you remember in the back of your head, oh yeah, I still got those clothes. And now they fit loose and you feel comfortable. And then over time, it starts getting a little tighter. That's why we do our clothes. I don't know if any of you guys ever knew that, but like there's a reason why we do the clothes drive is because we want you to get rid of that stuff, because subconsciously by not having that anymore, you're now dedicated to this new size or this new downsized clothing. Like, and all of a sudden, if that's to get tight now, you're not going to want to go out and buy more clothes. So you're going to get your act together, figure out what you need to change, and change it. It's simple. It's a lot of mental stuff that like you don't even think about sometimes, but it makes a huge difference. So hold on to the smaller stuff. Yes, not all of it, but I don't want any of you guys arguing with your spouse and say, well, Gabe told me to keep it, so I ain't getting rid of that. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you have the stuff that doesn't fit, that's too big for you, get rid of it. There's no purpose to have anything like that other than supporting your bad habits that you might be, repeating over and over again and falling back into that pit where you actually have to use those clothes again. But if you don't have them, it's going to be a little harder to want to get to that point again. The smaller ones, keep a pair of jeans, keep an old shirt, keep a nice button up, guys. Something that, that you want to fit into. I'm not saying go out and buy your clothes size smaller. Some people do that. Hey, that's, that's you want to, if that's how you want to roll, then go for it. But you also got to be smart too. So visual progress, guys, that was a huge key. Now let's talk a little bit about like your attitude and how you approach the weigh-ins. Okay. At one point, and I actually firmly believe in this. I'm not gonna lie, I think it's kind of slipped a little bit over time. So I need to tighten up as a coach. I need to tighten up how accountable I am with certain things. I don't believe in during Fit in 42, you guys being able to see your weigh-ins. It should be get on the scale. I'll even cover it. I used to cover the scale, so you couldn't see what was happening, because I know how much stress that can cause and what that stress can do to your progress. So once upon a time, I used to cover the scale. You come in, you weigh in. Now the scale's all digitized now, so you got to enter all these numbers in. But I honestly think like we should all get back to not even being able to see. If you are doing everything that you need to do, you are going to get progress. You're going to get the progress you deserve. I like that better. You're going to get the progress you deserve. It may come, little by little. You may have all of a sudden, big jumps, but you're going to get the progress that you deserve. Always remember that. And for some of us, it's actually going to be better mentally with your attitude if you don't see. Yeah, will I get some people that that I have to have conversations with? I'm saying why? Yeah, absolutely. Like, why can't I see it? Like, I don't understand. Well, those people probably aren't watching this seminar right now, and they wonder why they're always told no. It's not rocket science, guys. You need to understand that what's happening internally, there's so much going on. Your hydration, right? Now, if you weigh yourself first thing in the morning, you're weighing yourself based off of a number that is not technically accurate. You haven't had a sip of water. You haven't had an ounce of food. You haven't exercised. You haven't, so many components that aren't taken into account when you weigh in on the regular scales. Now, if you want to weigh in at the gym without having any water, having any food, that's a different story. It has to be consistent either way. So if you work out in the evening time, and this is not even has to do with the scale, if you weigh in with us, right, keep that weigh in consistent. It will fluctuate, believe it or not. If you all of a sudden you come in on a Saturday morning and you're like, oh, you know what, I forgot to weigh in last week. Can I weigh in right now? I'll let you, but you got to remember, it's not the same. It's not consistent, because you normally weigh in, after having all your meals for the day, all your water, after, or before your workout, obviously. So that can throw things off too. So there's a lot of just things that you got to remember that, again, guys, it's not for you guys to remember, it's for me to remind you. And that's exactly why we're having this discussion right now, is because we forget, like, man, there's so many other variables how is your energy from the moment you started Fit in 42? Maybe you're throwing a few back every night, maybe you're getting up and just kind of stopping, getting a breakfast burrito from wherever. You just felt like you were dragging through the day. Think of how your energy has changed and transformed in just 3 weeks of going through a Fit in 42 program. Just by cleaning up your food alone, it's going to create so much more that you should pay attention to, but that a lot of times we fail to miss because of the obsession of the number. Think about your overall, like that dip that you would normally get. And maybe right now it's different because we're not all working at the same level as we used to be. So you're home a little bit and it's kind of hard. But just think about all of the little things that come into play that you normally would not pay attention to, that you need to start. It all comes down to that realization though, guys. Like, you got to have a conversation with yourself and say, yeah, I know I have a scale and I weigh myself every morning, but like, why? Should I just get rid of it? Maybe you should do the ceremony. Just go outside, get a sledgehammer, and just break it. And just take a big breath, sigh of relief, and go on with the rest of your day. Like, life goes on, guys. You can't obsess over these numbers. All right, so right now, if I went to the doctors and I weighed in, technically speaking, I believe this was at one point when I was a little bit heavier. This is a true story. I kid you not. I went into a doctor's appointment, and at this time I was like just throwing weights around. I was probably eating 45 plates for breakfast. I mean, I was a gym, like just a gym rat. That's all I did. It's all I knew. Right. I think I was about 225, and I went for this weigh-in, and doctor he's like, Mr. Rodriguez, and this is a new doctor. So obviously, if this was a doctor who knew me, he would have never said this. It's like, Mr. Rodriguez, he's like, the only concern I really have is, is going to be your weight. He's like, that's not really an ideal weight for, a guy at your height and, your age. And I was like, am I getting punked? Like, where are the cameras? Like, what's going on here? Because I was in good shape. Like, I was in good shape. I had a ton of muscle on, and I felt perfectly fine. But based on the number, they calculate this BMI calculation just based off of your height and your age, and then they take the number on the scale and like, yeah, like you're overweight, or you're borderline, like you're pushing it. I wanted to smack that guy. I wanted to backhand him. Because I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? But they just, and this is not all doctors, so I don't want you guys to, to go off and tell your doctor, like, ask them. But do you ever wonder, like, they're not supposed to, like, that's not their job to find what your body fat percentage is. Like, they're going to look at you, especially if it's a new doctor, and they're just going to be like, they're going to make a judgment. They're just going to make a call. This is why we have the type of scales that we have, is because we can identify, what's going on, how much muscle do you have, how much body fat do you have, and as long as those numbers are moving in the right direction, then we're all good. Okay, this one's for the ladies right here. Your menstrual cycle will affect your weigh-ins. Okay, so if you are still weighing yourself at home, your hydration levels and menstrual cycles are a big play in that. The amount of sodium that you ate, so your water retention levels based off of the food that you're eating will affect your weigh-ins. And that's just the number on the scale. It'll also affect your body fat and everything. That's why we clean everything up. That's why during these programs, we eliminate all of these extra components that will affect your weigh-ins, because in the back of our minds, we also know that you guys, you're going to do what you're going to do. You're going to weigh yourself, whether we like it or not. Can we sit here and tell you till we're blue in the face not to do it? Yeah. But everybody's going to make that call. I just stress so much about it because I know that our programs work. And a lot of us know that they work. But we have this hard time with letting go of just that one little thing. And that's going to be like your Achilles heel at the end of the day, because what that number can cause stress-wise and how it can, again, negatively affect your total progress, your total results. So when you look back, okay, take this. When you look back at the end of the program, you're like, you know what? I gave it my all. I worked out as, however many days they told me to. I followed the meal plan. But did you weigh yourself every morning? So that would be like in that category, that gray part of like, did you do everything in your power to ensure your success? And what I mean by that is, like, if you weighed in and you know that it negatively affected you up here, that's not ensuring success. That all of a sudden you're balancing with it. You're like, man, is this working? Is this not? And that stress will just kill your results. So it's really, really important that you guys like hear me out and you guys understand that this is coming from a place of love. And like, I know you guys want these results. Like, I can feel that you guys have that desire, that want. Part of the letting go process and trusting the process is making sure you're removing those components that are going to negatively affect you. Let's see. I haven't checked the chat. I don't know if anyone asked any questions. Your daughter has all your clothes. This is not like a super long topic, guys. I mean, we talk about the mindset and everything like that, but this is just something that we miss a lot. So with that part, plateaus are just going to be a stepping stone, an area to improve, an area to get better, an area to better understand your body and how it works. What your body responds to is going to be different than what my body responds to. You might need to up your fat intake to a specific macronutrient level than I have to. I'll tell you right now, if I want to shred and just lose body fat, right, like that, I know what my formula is. I'm not even going to tell you guys, it's a secret, but I know what my formula is. Do you have one? And I can't tell you mine because I don't want you to try it and it not work and say, well, Coach Gabe said it did this. My formula is different, right? Because my body structure, if you're somebody who, I don't know if you guys know this, so there's 3 different body types. There's a mesomorph, an ectomorph, an endomorph. One of them is like, I'll use, I don't want to use anyone here, for example, but like someone who, hey, I use Jeremy. Yeah, Jeremy. Actually, Jeremy's perfect. Jeremy is a mesomorph. So Jeremy can look at a piece of pizza and probably put on 5 pounds. But Jeremy can also lose. He's got a big frame. He just has a big frame, right? So when it comes to losing body fat, okay, maybe he's got to work a little bit harder. But if he stopped working out, and quote me if I'm wrong, Jerry, if you stopped working out and just started going back to you'd blow up like a balloon. Exactly, right? And then there's a person who's in between. That's me, okay? I can both put on muscle really easily and I can lose fat really easily. Be jealous, I know. You have to realize which person you are. And then there's the other spectrum who everybody has this friend who he can eat 3 whole pizzas by himself and won't gain a pound. Right? So those are the different types of body types that you are will also come into account as well. So you have to realize, thinking about your past history. If you've gone through any types of change, if you change your diet around numerous times, if you've gone from eating like a bunch of calories to all of a sudden starving yourself, that can affect your results too. So these plateaus can be underlying issues that have been taught over the course of time. So when you're hitting plateaus, you have to understand, okay, based off of my body type, this is what ideally I need to do in order to do this, in order to either promote gaining muscle or losing fat. And you have to look at your history. If you've done something that's like a crash diet, you are just punching your metabolism in the face over and over again, just beating it like a drum. And if you've gone through these ebbs and flows, your metabolic capacity or your ability to burn fat, done, gone. So if you've ever gone through that, yeah, it's going to be a rough time, because now you have to restructure your entire hormone level. I'm sorry, I'm going down this rabbit hole now, but you're going to have to restructure your hormones to work at an even balanced rate. And that takes time. These are things that sometimes take time. Based off of your history, based off of your individual self, getting over plateaus, it can be a tricky business, but you have to understand all of these different variables. Also, you need to understand your training regimen and what you need to do to promote whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. If your training regimen is more geared towards Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and you're trying to gain muscle, great, probably going to happen. But you also have to remember, if you're eating more calories, you got to add in at least a day or 2 of cardio in there, which means there's got to be balance. This is exactly why our entire studio, our entire format is designed to create that balance. 3 days, 3 days. So you have to figure out what it is that you need. And that's where the coaches come in, and we help you guys to get over these plateaus. And sometimes that's work for us. That's more for us to understand, and you just to kind of go along for the ride. But we have to play with some numbers. We have to understand the type of person we're dealing with in order to get over these plateaus. But A plateau, you think a plateau is magically just going to disappear like that by weighing yourself? Nah, not going to happen. Does your menstrual cycle make you weigh heavier? Well, yes, in a sense, right? When you're bloated, that bloating is all excess water. So the weight on the scale will but then it's funny because towards the end of your menstrual cycle, you get really dehydrated. So you get bloated during, and then you get really dehydrated. So yes, it will affect your overall, your weight on the scale. It will affect you. To know the three, I will type them out for you. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna post them on the Facebook pages so everybody can see them. That way we can go over that. Let's see. Yeah, and that's really what it comes down to. Like I'll use a good example, Christian. When it comes to plateaus, is at some point you're gonna hit it, and that's what you got to understand. So you can't resort to the scale first. That's where your coach comes into play. You have that conversation, and we figure it out. That's what we're here for. We're here, and we're designed specifically to help you guys through these plateaus. It's not always going to be dropping lbs and gaining muscle and rainbows and stuff. No. If that was the case, we'd have a lot more competition out there. But because we attack things proactively and we know how to get you over these hurdles, that's how we're able to stay in business and be successful. Our success is based off of your success. And to be running the way we're running right now during this quarantine, when I know so many gym owners that are just closing shop permanently, like we're doing something right. May not be all of it, but we're constantly grinding to fix things. So when you guys have these questions, first thing you got to do, come to your coach. You guys can come to me. Okay. I'm a resource for anybody affiliated with Fit and 42. I even have friends, family, like stuff that I deal with on a regular basis. Okay. But reach out if you guys ever have questions. If it's not your coach, maybe it's another coach, maybe something you heard from Coach David and it makes sense. You want to know more about that. Ask him. If something that I told you today hits home and you want to ask me more stuff, reach out, please. It actually will make me upset to know that we didn't do everything we could do because there wasn't that conversation to be had. Phase 2, that's a really good question, Lindsay. Phase 2 is your new normal, basically. Phase 2 is your new normal, right? And I talked a little bit about, I think a few weeks ago, maybe it's a little while back, I talked a little bit about like when you're reintroducing yourself into, we talked about reading labels and whatnot. Yes, are you going to add more foods in? Absolutely. But understanding what to look for when you do get to that point. And if you're a creature of habit and you want to stay consistent, then that's what we support. And phase 2 is designed to do that. You could do whatever your little heart desires, Kristen. Once this is over, you find your formula. Find your formula, guys, and stick to it. Triangle offense. That's it. Find your triangle offense and stick to it. Maybe it's a new normal with no cheese. Hey, I've heard of worse ones. And you might actually have, maybe you do. Maybe you hybrid phase 1, phase 2, call it phase 3. Or maybe you do a phase 1, phase 2, and then you add in like a little, pat on the back cheat meal every week. But if you can do that and you can manage it and still come back to reality and not turn a cheat meal into an entire cheat week or month, then great, go for it. Not everybody has that mental toughness, Not everybody can do that. Some people, they taste us, they smell pizza and they just jump off the deep end. It goes back to understanding the type of person you are. If you know that consistency is what you need, stick with what we do. Stick with phase 1, stick phase 2, go back and forth, and if you do, so if you hit a plateau and you're still following this, coach, conversation right here. All right. But I don't want to hear you complaining if we haven't had the conversation yet. Have the conversation first, attack it while it first starts. And that way you stay ahead of a plateau is basically what we're trying to recommend. You got to understand your formula, guys. And I can tell you right now, that formula has nothing to do with weighing yourselves. All right. So two things you got to do if you have a scale. Number one, write that note, put it on top of the scale. Number two, if you really took a lot from this, send me a video of you breaking your scale. That'll make me happy. All right. Maybe we should do like a hashtag and we can go viral with it or something. Guys, again, I told you guys I was going to keep it short. That's all I got for you guys today. Again, thank you guys for paying close attention and being here. We want to give you guys these nuggets all the time, and they may not be for everybody. This might be something that like nobody has an issue with, but there's that one or two people that I'm like really talking to right now, and that's what it's about. Every seminar is different. So keep up the great work, guys. Bitten 42. You guys got about a week and a half left. I hope you guys are doing great. I know you guys are doing great. I can see it. I can see it in your eyes when you guys come weigh in. When I see you guys, it's just everything is moving in the right direction. Don't forget, guys, all of my stimulus challenge people who are doing the transformation, take your photos every Monday. All right. Don't be late on that. And again, if you guys have any questions about plateaus or questions about body types, what type of a body do you have, reach out, let me know. Let's discuss it. Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. All right, guys. Make sure you guys find that formula. All right. Keep it up, guys. Keep up all the great work. And always, as always, thank you for the support. All right. Love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow or sometime soon.